All right, welcome to the Rocket Launcher Podcast, episode 61. I am your host, Supreme King, and joined as always by my co-host, and his name is...
It's your guy Omazes.
Yes, are you enjoying the summer? It's almost over,
I'm
technically.
enjoying that the summer's almost over.
You
So,
enjoying that
as
it's
much as
over?
I don't like everybody having a return and all that other stuff, and I like the cold weather. I don't like heat.
You like the
So,
cold weather?
and the summer means end of heat
It didn't
and
seem
return
that
of
hot to
football.
me, though. It seemed only hot like a little bit. Like, we didn't have that many days that ran into the 90-degree weather. I don't think so.
True. However, I ain't got an air conditioner, so even like the 85-degree weather days are
Uh,
just crappy at night. So, cold weather and return of football, man. I'm happy.
all right. Well, I enjoyed the heat a little bit. It wasn't too harsh on me. But other than that, welcome to the podcast. I want to say a quick thank you to the people who have been patient with me and also checking out the channel. Like, I didn't realize, because I'm gonna be honest, I've been like a bad YouTuber lately. I didn't realize that like we got more views on the podcast itself, but then also throughout the channel. And I was a little confused by that because it's like, for me, it almost seems like I abandoned the channel for like literally the whole summer. But it seemed like people still watch it and still clicking on stuff that's literally old. Like, when I was looking at some of the stuff that I was seeing in like the numbers and everything, like, it's some old stuff that people still watching. I'm like, man, the
Hey,
news has been over. But hey,
that's what's up.
if y'all still rocking with me, I appreciate it, because I am set to come back slowly, and then it's gonna be a brief moment where it's like really frequent, and then back to like being a little bit more normal, where you get at least 2 solo videos out of me a week. That's kind of what I'm aiming for. Don't want to
That's what's up.
oversaturate like before. But yeah, so thank you for keeping the channel alive, because it was pretty much dead without you guys, because I ain't post nothing. It's just my fault. But yeah, other than that, we got some good and bad news, I guess, for certain companies. It's not really that bad for us as the consumer. I think we're doing pretty fine right now so far in the year. But to start off, I guess I'll give a shout out to a recent launch of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. I guess it is, doing pretty good. It's pretty much Dead by Daylight. You're a Dead by Daylight guy, right? Like, Dead
Yes.
by Daylight. This is kind of like I guess an alternative, or just like, we branching out and do our own thing. We're not going to be a part of this, because it's like everybody and their mama is in Dead by Daylight, including
Yo,
Nick Cage. And then it's like
man, he's so fun. He is so fun to play as.
I'm pretty sure horror fans would have wanted the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Leatherface in Dead by Daylight more than Nicolas Cage. But I guess, Nicolas Cage still has his spot. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they had their own game now. They got their own game. So yeah, and it has a nice launch. I haven't heard too many bad things so far. Compared to like other games that came out this year where it just had terrible launches or whatever. So much respect for putting out a game that has a certain amount of quality, right?
Yeah.
Certain amount of quality. So yeah.
So, speaking of that though, so they got a little bit of advertisement through AEW, uh, and they had a Texas Chainsaw Massacre match between Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Hardy, and I only caught the last like 4 minutes of this
hmm
match, but it was your standard hardcore match. It seemed fine. Um, a bunch of their like, because both of them are part of stable, so a bunch of people was out helping and all that other stuff. It seemed okay, and apparently at some point Jeff Jarrett was like, "I got a Leatherface in my corner." I think he said that in an interview or something, because at some point you hear a chainsaw, and some like skinny guy who was about maybe 6 feet 6'1" with a chainsaw comes out, uh, and he's like walking out, but he has a Leatherface mask on, right? But like he's not as big as Leatherface. It's like y'all had a locker room full of wrestlers who were tall and
They
huge.
could have got
You
Monster
chose
Matanza basically.
right.
But
You
didn't.
could have got
Or
Matanza.
Jeff
They could have let
Cobb. Shout out to Jeff Cobb.
Brian Cage do it or something like that. There's so many people they could have got. They just got like your everyday guy, and he comes out with the chainsaw. And that was when one of the announcers was like, Jeff Jarrett did say he has Leatherface in his corner, but then Leatherface chased off Jeff Jarrett's wife.
Oh boy.
And she ran away, and he like chased her to the back, and that set up like a distraction for like them to hit Jeff Jarrett with like the guitar and like others. So like it was like weird like setup for a distraction. And then somehow we're like Jeff Jarrett won, but it was like it threw everything off, and it felt very WCW like, and everything where it wasn't like a wrestler coming out wearing the Leatherface thing to like trick him like NXT did it when they were kind of promoting Scream. So like a couple people dressed up like Ghostface.
Yeah.
To come out, but then they revealed it's like no, we're part of the stable now. Like no, for them it was supposed to be Leatherface, like doing this. So I was like, okay, like that was a choice. So
it should have just been Nick Cage. That would have been like a ultimate like just black hole moment where you just like your brain is just destroyed if he just like took it off and it's actually Nick Cage and it's like, but wait a minute, you're supposed to be in this game and it's like, no, you don't have no loyalty and what's going on. It would have been a good talking point, I guess. I don't know.
I agree.
I don't know, but yeah, shout out to that game. I guess that's a high. I guess we could do high then low then high then something like that, right? So the low is kind of funny. This is being a low. It's more of a tongue-in-cheek low because I think this was dead on arrival. It technically hasn't arrived yet, but Red Dead Redemption 1 is not off to a good start when it comes to its hype. It looks like nobody is backing behind this thing. It doesn't have too much of a hype at all. You're saying good. It's funny, but it's just like, man, like I think this is definitely going to be dead on arrival. It actually has 2 release dates though, one digital and one physical. The digital release is like by the time people hear this, it might be out. I think it's like this upcoming week, and then the physical release was supposed to be in October, but it seems like the people are not pleased at all, as they should. Well, as they should be.
You're releasing an 11-year-old game in an 11-year-old state and going enjoy for $50. Yeah. Like, you should fight it.
Yeah, so yeah, Red Dead's not doing so good. It's still kind of funny. I do still recommend that everybody plays the game who hasn't already played it, but I have to tell you, like, you are better off getting the Xbox 360 version and going through the enhancements on Xbox either One X or Series X, and paying something like maybe less than $20 or even like an eBay price for like $15 or something for a used, instead of paying, I think it was $50. No, absolutely not. And so it looks like they're not doing so hot. And then I guess going forward, another high, we had a teaser trailer for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I believe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the trailer wasn't really doing much. I think this game is literally just beginning. But the trailer just gave you a nice little tease, like, hey, it's coming. And it was very, very comic booky. Very short, like under a minute. But the trailer was hyped. I mean, it's got over 1 million views, lots of comments. A lot of people are into this. This is probably going to be a very big release. So yeah, I'm happy for the Ninja Turtle franchise, because the Turtle franchise has been up and down a little bit over the years, just because they keep doing a lot of cartoony stuff, a lot of kiddie stuff, and some people don't like it. But
cartoony, I am wondering how the movie's doing. I did not go to see that one.
Okay.
But they had the Mutant Mayhem one that just came out, where they're a little bit younger and
right. They were a little kid. It probably did good with the kids. But
Yeah.
I don't know how many like diehards is probably like if anybody had, children, then obviously you're going with your kids. But I don't know how many people was like excited to go by themselves though. Like I don't know how big it was. It probably was big. I didn't see it. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't see it. It just
Yeah, I
didn't
haven't
seem like
seen
it
it
was
yet
for
either.
me. I'm old school. I'm one of the '90s kids when it comes to like the movie. I'm from the '90s era where it was like a little rugged, a little rough around the edges, even though they were rated PG.
But
Yeah.
it had Vanilla Ice.
Oh, okay.
But no. Speaking of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, real quick. Now this part's a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear this, I guess fast forward like 3 minutes.
No, it was a
But
spoiler for what though? Like for
for
what
the
part
last
of Ninja
Ronin,
Turtle? Okay.
the next generation.
So
So, all right, spoiler for like 3 minutes. But basically, they
okay.
announced originally that for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that after the last Ronin there would be a new set of turtles that they were going to focus on. So I
Okay.
expect probably comic books to go there. But they got the new set of turtles. All of their names translate to one. So it's two boy and two girl now.
Okay.
And their names are Uno, Moja, Odin, and Yi, which
Uh,
all mean one
is
worldwide.
so let me ask, is this supposed to be like directly after the last one in like storyline, or is it like a reboot or just start over kind of thing?
Directly after the storyline.
Okay, so was these his
I don't know how
kids?
we got there. I don't know. I don't know how we got there, and I didn't want to
Okay.
spoil that part and look it up.
Okay.
I just know that there's a new set, and they're gonna be like the new ones, like taking over. This is far in the future, I guess. Uh, like a grandkid basically is like raising these ones now.
So he gonna be the rat basically. He gonna be sensei,
Maybe I don't know.
master.
I don't know if he's raising them. I know.
Yeah.
Kate, what's her name? April's kid is raising them.
I hate I hate when they do that. It's not
Yeah,
it's not on the turtles. It's just in general when everybody's related. So because you're
yeah,
related, you mean more to the plot
yeah,
and story, which wouldn't make sense otherwise. It just somehow it just works in movies for some reason. I
yeah. So he
always
could
hated
be
that.
the new rat, but like I just know that April's kid is like raising them, and like all their names being the number one, and it's supposed to be from different languages, like Uno being Spanish, Yi being Chinese, etc. Uh,
So if April looked
and
like Missy
sorry,
Elliott, then the kid gonna be Sierra. No.
okay.
All right,
I'm
maybe
sure
not.
they're going with the original design, but
They ain't gonna make
uh,
her look like Missy Elliott. They gotta do.
nah.
You got to, man.
Now I want to see that.
Casey gonna be
But
Roman Reigns. That'll
yeah,
work. That'll work.
yeah. But yeah.
Um,
So just expect at the end of it, like new turtles. But I
I
don't know.
wonder
Like,
how well
here's
that's
the other
gonna
thing though.
go. I wonder how
There
well
is
that's
that
gonna
thing
go.
where they sometimes they show it, like this is where the
Yeah.
future goes, and then they just go back and resort, and like just like
Yeah,
now you
like I
know.
wouldn't be surprised if they just have like a whole lot like Netflix style setup where it's like we get four actors that we're not going to pay because we don't pay actors anymore apparently,
Yeah.
and they'll just redo the original cast and then they just start over just in case. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do
I would
something
be
like
surprised
that.
if it was similar to when like what was that Dragon Ball GT ended.
Yeah,
Where, like you saw the kid like that looked like Goku and the kid that looked like Vegeta fighting in the tournament, and it was like, oh, that's their like grandkids or whatever, and then like
yeah,
it just doesn't go anywhere from there. But they show you like happy ending. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what this was.
yeah. It was, and I remember that feeling a little lazy too, and it's just like there are a lot of moments in Dragon Ball Z where we don't really admit because we love Dragon Ball Z, but you could tell the writing and stuff like they got lazy. And it shows
Yeah.
a lot in Super with the transformations.
Oh yeah.
It's
I was
like all they
actually
do is
reading.
change the hair a little bit, but
I was actually reading the whole article where apparently a lot of people like were feeling like I was feeling and going off about the Trunks treatment, where he went
yeah,
from like the Dragon Ball Z Trunks is like a million times better. Now, albeit someone did point out that they said he's been living in like squalor for like years and everything. So like there was a part where he was eating canned food. It was like, oh great, it's not dog food. So the whole point is it's supposed to be malnourished,
Yeah.
which is why he would have been all thin and skinnier than his Dragon Ball Z counterpart. But I don't know. Still,
I think the greatest like mishap in it is actually Gohan. Like
oh for sure.
Gohan just it was just like so much potential and it just gradually just went away. Even
Yep.
when he had his little ultimate form at one point, it was like you didn't want to see that with him. You wanted to see him with like yellow hair and like he wanted to see that
Yeah.
kind of
Oh, there
transformation.
was some complaints about the movie too. The Dragon Ball Superhero. With
Okay.
how he became his like final form and everything, where it was basically a wish, not earned.
Yeah.
So that was a whole, yeah, that whole thing. But
All right.
back to
Back,
the turtles,
back,
I
yeah,
guess.
back to gaming a little bit. I guess so. So trans or not Transformers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That'll be a high. I guess what would be a low. Depending on how you look at it. This was one of your topics. The NBA 2K24 having a season pass. Want to tell us about
So
that?
you gotta pay $70 for the base game, or you could pay $100 for the collector's edition, or the $150 to $200 for whatever super mega ultra we're gonna cash in on either Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant edition. And on top of that, they now decided to implement a season pass. So you get a generic season pass, like to start.
Yeah.
Then, if you pay an extra $10, you get the pro season pass, which adds like some extra items that you can get as you're going through the season and playing and earning stuff. But if you pay $20, or if you already had pro and you pay an extra $10, then you get the like legend season pass or whatever it's called, where you get even more items like that you earn in a very similar way to like Destiny and stuff. Here's the thing though, is you're already paying full price for the
Yeah.
game, and then it's not even like DLC that you're buying. You're just earning random things that should have been to earn in game, but now you got to pay $10 to unlock it, or 20
I
bucks to unlock
remember seeing I think it was a TikTok clip or something where this dude was so fed up. He was just like, I just want to play basketball.
it.
This ain't a
Yeah.
basketball game no more. And it was like, he couldn't progress in the season until he did like something skating related. Like
Oh
it
yes.
was
Well,
really weird.
I was playing
Tony
through some
Hawk
of the
ish.
story mode, and then I kind of quit on 2K23. Like
Yeah.
you could get around with the skateboard, but like you had to do that. There was also a part where you like basically the main story is like you and like you get signed on to a team, but the whole city wanted to sign on this other player who was like a star college player, even though you're better than him and everything. So you get signed on, and everybody's like booing you because they wanted the other guy. So the other guy's always trying to find ways to throw shade at you every time.
Right.
So at one point, you're just like, all right, to get back at him, you gotta like release a rap song. Uh, like get it so you're like trying to find a rapper to help you, and I think that's where J. Cole fit into the story. But you don't get J. Cole to help you, get some like indie rapper to like help, and I'm pretty sure it's an in-game rapper. And then you have to like select bars, like they give you three line choices. You got to choose the right ones in order to like string together a rap. And if it's not good, you have to redo the whole thing over and over and over again until you pick pretty much the right ones. And you can't progress to the next basketball game until that's done. So
Yeah.
you're just stuck rapping or doing a skateboarding challenge where you have to go around the city so many like minutes or things like that. Like there's a lot less basketball in the basketball game for the story mode.
Yeah, I remember they had this commercial where they had people like doing the gambling part because I guess they had slot machines at one point in one of the earlier games, but they had a commercial where they was making everybody feel extra excited to play that, and it was like one of the most disliked videos for like NBA 2K because it was so fake. It was
So
like nobody's excited about that.
where I quit was because I played through a couple games and everything, right? And I was going through the story and everything was fine. And then it was like, all right, now get to this match, and this is where you really got to show off. And then all of a sudden, every single like shot and release that I made before would just miss, like throughout this whole game, where it was just out of nowhere. Where like, because there's like when you fill the meter and there's a little green part that if you get it, it's like you like definitely are making this shot. The green meter little part just wasn't there for me anymore, and every single spot where I would normally shoot and make it, every like release was like it was all the same, but it was just like miss, 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 and my grade is just going down. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. Like, you're not gonna just artificially make me bad, because then the whole point is what I'm supposed to do is train, do the extra stuff, or buy boosters to raise my stats and everything. And it's like that's what it feels like you're making me do. I'm not artificial. Like I'm not getting better. You're just artificially making me bad. And if I want to continue the story, then I gotta buy crap. I'm not doing that. So I ended up deleting it right then. Like I was craving basketball. I was doing the story. Delete.
Yes, it's strange. It ain't no tournament no more. It used to be you just straightforward tournament. You either win or you lost.
Yep. Nope. Now it's everything
And
you
you
gotta
build
pay
up
for.
your character.
You build your legacy teams. Then you gotta buy, like you gotta get the right type of Allen Iverson. You don't get any Allen Iverson. You gotta get the level 90 Allen Iverson, and then if you want to get like these stat boosts and everything, it's like be like a new player, but because you spent money, you now have every single like boost to 3-pointers, boost to this, boost to that, blocking, and then like you just put those on your character, and now all of a sudden you're just better than everybody else, even though you didn't put any practice in. So it's like nah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because
season passes should not be in full price games.
Yeah, I agree.
There should not be in full price games. They should, like, at that point, if you're trying to do all this stuff, basketball should be free, football should be free. Like, make them free to play games, and then you can put all the season pass crap you want in them. But if you're gonna charge the full price or more, then they should not be season pass.
But they also they're almost going out of their way from stopping you from playing the game, even though you bought it and you're just trying to play it.
Yep.
It's trying to slow you down and stop you from playing.
Yep.
Which is bizarre. So yeah, NBA is looking a little low, a little mid these days. People still gonna buy it and everything year after year. But I wonder for this and for Madden, I wonder if their numbers they're starting to see a little bit of a decrease. If it's really starting to decline a little bit, because I can imagine it has to a little bit. It almost has to. Nice.
The only time I played like the new NBA is when it's given away for free from PlayStation. The only time, and I don't put any money in. The only time I
got a couple of them for free.
It's free on EA, and I don't put any money in, and I just play it until like you can clearly see they're trying to force me to monetize something, or until I just get annoyed with it and then delete it.
Yeah, I do want to say, I guess we could move past it a little bit. We're gonna go to a high that has lows embedded into it a little bit. It's technically started off as a low in a way, because I think this is also my co-host's topic, but technically I also have like a little bit to say about it because it's going to start tying into a bunch of stuff here. Baldur's Gate 3. So there's been good and bad, I guess, saying about this. It's mainly good though, actually. It's been like I remember seeing posts where I guess people were like talking about how other developers from other games are like upset with the success of this game, which seems bizarre in itself. Because their games,
outside of the one thing that I want to complain about for it, which probably isn't even the biggest complaint because as you'll see, it's not going to stop me from getting it.
Mm-hmm.
No microtransactions, no predatory stuff.
Right.
Like everything's in game. You can fully enjoy it. You get a full experience. It didn't really release with that many like game-breaking bugs. Like it worked at the start. Like it was a good game. And it was just like they're like, oh, why is this so successful? I don't know. Maybe take your season pass out and you'll learn why. Or maybe if your game worked on release, yours wouldn't be a complaint also. Like, come on now.
Yeah, because I guess what I'm getting at is so basically the only real complaint that was coming up is basically there's no physical release for this.
Yep.
As of right now, I don't know if it's like permanently, but
Only Japan is getting a physical.
okay. Well, that's strange. Like you can do physical here too if that's the case, but so I would hold out hope that they would. Now, the game that so we were saying before that this was kicking Diablo 4 out of Game of the Year contender, right?
Uh-huh.
And Diablo 4 does have a physical release. I remember like looking at it. I haven't gotten it yet, but I looked at it. But this is kicking that out of the argument, I would say. And then also it is considered one of the better games that apparently other developers feel like is making their games look bad, I guess. I remember that was like a talking point last week or the week before.
How do you sabotage your own games and then be like, that's not fair that theirs is doing good? Like,
yeah, because they tried to make it predatory and it just didn't work, you know.
Yep. So here's what I gotta say about the physical release thing. Because we talked about it. So, and it does tie into a little bit that I finally got Remnant 2, but I got a physical one. Like, I saw that it was available. I'll give that story in a little bit. But where with the physical release stuff, I prefer it to be physical, especially if you're gonna up the price by $10 and everything. You can't up the price and remove something. Like, that's not cool. Like, it should be physical. Where I can forgive it a little bit is you don't really get that many physical releases for PC anymore, and Baldur's Gate 3 first released on PC, and then it's moving to PS5, and then it's going to move to Xbox. So I can understand if like they're just making it work for the system, and that's why it's not getting a physical or something like that. Even though I would have still preferred a physical disc, it's not like the PC one would have a physical disc.
Right.
I would argue the game should have a physical disc, unless it's like a super indie game like WrestleQuest that I plan on getting in like a couple days. I know that doesn't have a physical release and everything because it's a super indie game and they made it repeat. Like, I get it, but this is like, it's one of those battles where I want to fight it, but I feel like there's so many other battles that we have to fight in gaming. Where, for example, full price game with a season pass, right? Or games coming out just broken and it's not going to actually work for the next 3 months, or them re-releasing an 11-year-old game with no updates and charging full price, like no upgrades at all. It's like, here's full price though, pay us more money. I feel like those are much bigger like things to be fighting against. That like no physical release feels a little bit lower on the tier list for me in terms of like, I need to fight this. However, I still did technically spend an extra $100 for a PlayStation that can play physical discs, and I didn't do that for PS4 games, right? Like, this is where it's like it should be physical and everything because that's what I paid for. And I don't understand this whole, well, due to production we have to up the price by $10, but now also there's no physical release. Well, if you're not going to make physical disc, then there was no reason to up the price by $10. I would even prefer if they were like digital 60, physical 70. Right. I would still be a little upset, but way, way less upset because then I'm just like, okay, the extra $10 is me being a collector.
Yeah, and I think what they're trying to do also is fight the fact that like inventory is going to drop it like a hot potato, basically. Like, it's just going to, like, a lot of games that were high in inventory in some of these places, they drop their price to like 40 or 50. And then there's also that Black Friday sale where you're basically buying them like a bag of chips, you know.
And that's what they're trying to fight.
Yeah, they're trying to fight it now because they had no control over it towards the second half of last generation. It seemed like everything was pennies on a dollar. Like everything. Like, I remember I scooped majority of the whole library of PlayStation exclusives, as well as like a lot of really good third-party games for probably $120 or something. It was like 6, 7 games. It was like majority of them. Actually, no. It was probably close to 15 actually. But some of those games were so cheap. Anthem was a big deal until it came out, and I remember afterwards it dropped to nothing. I bought that deluxe version for $5. Like, Days Gone was 20. Horizon was 10. You know, the first God of War was under 20 when I got it. And these were games, like, some of them were like new. You know what I mean? Like really brand new. But those Black Fridays hit and they will go down to nothing. And I think they're trying to fight against it, because they fought against it, and I would say they kind of won in the year 2021, but then lost severely in 2022. And that's why I think going in 2023, it's just like, well, we're just not going to put them out there at all. That's what I think is pretty much happening. Because it's like in 2021, it was like, okay, well, we're going to try to do the Nintendo route where they just stay the way they are. But then everybody just had physical copies and couldn't sell them. So 2022, they're just like, we got to get rid of them. So you start seeing the Black Friday prices again. So 2023, I think they're just like, well, we're not putting them out. That's what I'm thinking is happening.
That's probably it. That makes a lot of sense.
That's what I'm thinking. Because if you look at those $70 exclusives, they were $30 in 2022's Black Friday. I scooped a few. They were $30. I got Returnal at $30. I got
for less than the original price.
yeah. And then next thing you know, we also still have the whole like push for the PlayStation Plus being like it changed into basically Game Pass, right? And then Game Pass itself was gaining a whole bunch of different games as well. And so I guess that affected the market a little bit, because I remember games would go on sale like as soon as they were a part of Game Pass. Like it would just be on sale. And I think they're trying to just like say, well, you can't just, we're not going to just put them in stores and you can only have to special order them online. And it's something that's not being said that I would like for bigger channels to call out.
Yeah.
You know, like
sometimes it's harder to, I think, to notice on PC because, like, for example, like I was mentioning with Baldur's Gate 3, I didn't hear anything about no physical release because PC doesn't have, like I said, physical releases. Really, you're gonna buy it off of Steam or Epic or something like that. So I wasn't even paying attention until we started complaining about like Remnant, and then when I was thinking about Baldur's Gate 3, because in my head I was like, maybe if a copy comes out around the time as Baldur's Gate 3, and then I went, wait a minute, is Baldur's Gate 3 getting a physical? And I looked it up, and nope, there was no physical release. I think the whole one coming out in China just like announced now, but like, no physical release, and that's when I was like, oh, shoot, like that's when I like noticed it. So with some of the bigger channels, if all they're doing is super high PC rigs, they might not even notice.
Some of them won't notice, but at the same time, like a lot of them get those review copies and stuff, so they're kind of in cahoots with the companies because the whole point is to sell it to the audience, and then we'll pay you because you're helping us make money, that kind of thing. So nobody's gonna keep it real. I don't think anybody's really looking at it in depth like that at all, and paying attention to the crisis basically. But this is technically
should have been a sign. Should have been a sign. Which game was that had a collector's edition that came with a steel book, but it was only digital?
A few of them. A few of them.
Where it was like, here's a steel book that'll come with a code. It's like,
so Starfield is a game we're going to get to in a second. That one's got that type of situation. Horizon Forbidden West did that. God of War Ragnarok did that.
Well, you know what? At this point, at least let me get a steel book. Like, at the very least, like, let me still get a steel book. Give me something. Like, it's just pure digital. But
you would still got the steel book. You just wouldn't have got a disc to put in the book. That's what it was.
What scares me about this is one thing. One, you said Marvel's Avengers, right?
Yeah.
Which is on the screen. You, you might not even be able to download it anymore. Like, you need to have the physical disc in order to even play it.
Yeah.
Right?
I think I can detour with that right now though, because I did want to mention, because it is on screen. And then we'll go back to Baldur's Gate in your Remnant story, but
Yeah.
this ties into it as well, because Marvel's Avengers. This is a great example because this is considered a big name. It was still massive in the movie world, right? And not only that, it still sells well in like their action figures when they're available. And then on top of that, the TV shows were doing good under like Disney Plus, right? Despite some of them having like kind of like a negative review as far as like the content itself, is still a lot of people showed up to watch. You know what I'm saying? Like She-Hulk and all the other ones, they still showed up to watch. But this was a AAA game with a big budget, tied to, you know, a very, very successful franchise with a lot of big actors, a lot of controversy around some of the actors too. You know, very big deal. And the game is on borrowed time, and I wanted to start it because I owned it for a while but didn't like install it or do anything. But I wanted to start it before it's like takedown day, which is going to be September 30th. And just give my impressions. I like the beginning of it. Still in the very, very beginning. I liked Thor and Captain America's gameplay the most. I will say Black Widow's combat is still kind of fun, but everybody pretty much kind of plays the same in a way. They have like a little bit of slight differences here and there, but they control the same. So the second you start playing with one of them, you can kind of feel the same with some of the other people, except for except for Iron Man. He felt a little clunky to me. He's a little bit different, unless you're just doing hand-to-hand combat. He's not really set up to do that. He's really just like shoot your blast and stuff. But so far it's fun for me. I understand that it's going to get worse as time goes on, according to the community. But the thing about it for me is that I just find it to be like really a shame that because they didn't get the numbers that they're looking for, that they'll just go ahead and just delist it, including the digital version. You know, because Baldur's Gate is getting a positive reception here, right? But one of the situations that we're talking about now is that, well, you're not even getting a physical version, at least as of yet. But let's say it was bad. Let's say somehow it came out really bad and it was embarrassing or something. Well, now it's just going to get gone forever. They would have taken it away. But because it's good, it's going to stay, right? But I would argue that the name value of the Avengers and Marvel is bigger than Baldur's Gate. You know, I would argue it's bigger, obviously, than the Remnant. But, you know, it's getting taken away because greed, corporate greed. It's like you put this whole thing together. You literally can't just leave it on the store shelf. Like, even if you just didn't do any more, you didn't print any more physical copies. Like, I think like when they first announced that they were delisting, I think they stopped printing new copies of it. And they basically was just like, whatever's out there, that's what you got. And I can imagine they're going to skyrocket in value, like by October. Like the second we hit October, it's just going to skyrocket overnight. Because that's just how this industry works right now. But it's like, yo, this was a AAA game. Like we were already talking about before, a lot of games over the summer was going to start delisting. And one of the ones that was like semi big was like Knockout City, where if you had it on console, like forget about it, even if you paid money into it, I guess. And it's like, well,
I have it on console. Like I didn't, like it was a free PlayStation Plus game. I didn't put any money into it, but I got it on console. But
yeah, I think it's just a shame because as a game, like right now, like they didn't make their money really, but this has got to be worth like 10, 15, 20 bucks, no matter where you find it, even physical, before the 30th. And it's like, I think it's worth that. Like as what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
playing so far. Of course, maybe not 60 or whatever, but it's just like you're taking away the ability to even buy it at that level, though. You know, like it still could have lasted the rest of the generation. You know, and you could have still collected a little bit of sales here and there, even if it was going to end up being a $10 Black Friday thing. It was already kind of like that before because I think I got mine for like 15.
okay.
I could imagine this Black Friday it would have probably been the same amount, but I think it's probably going to skyrocket a little bit just because of eBay. But it makes no sense to take it off the store digitally though. You know, like I
Yeah,
don't understand that. And
it's just it's silly that they're doing that, and I always think it's like this is why I would prefer physical, because then you can't just be like it don't exist anymore, and I just lost my money. Or
yeah,
on top of that, I always think like, what happens if I lost my account, or like they've been hacked before? So what
yeah,
happens if I lose all of that? Do I like I just lose everything now? That was digital, like it's just all gone because it's usually tied to a PlayStation Plus, like or a PlayStation Network account, right? Not just your
right.
system name. So if I somehow like lost it all, like how do I recover all of my stuff? So it's like
Yeah,
I'd
like
rather have
it might seem like a lot to have like a whole bookcase full of DVD discs or whatever. But there are some perks to that, like because if you was to lose your account, like what you said, and you're being forced to be digital going forward, like you could literally like lose everything with just with the computer just messing up your password or something. Like that's it.
yep.
And then we already know about like PlayStation customer service, especially. Like it was a thing where they were just like trying to make it a tier list at one point, right? Where it was just like
Yeah.
only
If
certain
you're like
people can get
high
good
on like
customer service.
stars or extra and stuff, like you get it right
Yeah.
away. Everybody else gotta wait.
So if you lose your account, but you like casual, you know, or you got a family or something, way more responsibilities that's more important. Like
Uh-huh.
you kind of screwed out of a lot of money because digital is still the most expensive technically. They get more money, but they're trying to force you to do it their way. And
Yeah.
the biggest thing that I just keep saying is just like, well, that's not convenient for the customer, and the customer should always pay, you know, towards their convenience more than anything.
Uh-huh.
I do want to say real quick, like if for anybody watching, I made the test master look really weak. Like you about to see this boss fight is about to be funny. But yeah, like I just feel like it's a real shame that this particular game is going away. It didn't even have to be that good. It's just the fact that it's just going away. You know, unless you have a physical version. I advise everybody who hasn't played it yet or is on the fence, like yes, Guardian of the Galaxy is better. But you should still have this at like $15-10. It's definitely still worth that. You don't have to do all of the extra robot fights and stuff. You know, afterwards, but still have it to play the campaign and just enjoy it.
I mean, give an honest review of this game, like a real quick one, because I
Yeah,
played through the whole thing. I may have mentioned it before in an earlier podcast. I don't know. We've done like 60.
yeah,
But, so basically for
600.
the game, the story, yeah, the real talk, but like so the storyline is good. It's a good story, like sometimes predictable, but like a good story to play through.
Yeah. See, he never could touch me.
Individual, yeah, individual designed missions
Yeah,
where you play specifically as an Avenger. Uh, are to me they're fine. They're good. They're fun. Like playing a store was really fun. Um, some of the parkour stuff that you have to do is like Hulk is fun. The flying sections with Iron Man were fine. They were good. Etc. Right? So the single when it's designed for that Avenger, it's good. The only levels I didn't really like is when it was pick which four people you want to be, or like pick which four people you want on the mission, pick which one of the four you want to be, and then go. Where it was really designed to be multiplayer, but it was weird because it was just thrown in the middle of your story. Those to me did not work because that's when the level just became very plain and generic. and it was like everyone has to be able to work through it and everything. So you couldn't do things that like, oh, it would only work for Iron Man. That was where the game failed. But the rest of it was fine. I didn't regret going through the story. I just regretted buying it day one. So it was one of the reasons. It was one of the 2 games that stopped me from pre-ordering ever again. Because of that. So, but it's
Was
still
the
worth
other one Gotham Knights?
No, it was WWE 2K20.
Because I was gonna say, man, the superhero world is down bad.
No, I enjoyed Gotham Knights. It was WWE 2K20 and this because they came out the same year. And it was 2 or 3 back to it because I ordered this and Tony Hawk the same day. Avengers was that, and then 2K20 was completely unplayable, and that's why I was like, that's it, never again. And I would never pre-order again.
That was really bad because that was the first time they skipped a year. I think they had never done that before. It was to the point they had to.
Right?
Yeah. But they technically did because they had what was the one with the alligator and stuff? Like they had.
Oh yeah, WWE Battlegrounds. That horrible game. But no, we tried that for we really pushed to 45 minutes.
Yeah, it was just like forget about it. Especially when you saw the grinding thing, it was just like you knew common sense. Like if it wasn't that bad, it looked like it would have been fun to go for it. But it was just like the way this was set up. It was just like you got to spend 50 hours per character, or you buy it for like $5. Like, forget about it. We just turn it right off. Just literally turn it right off. And for them, it's like, oh, well, now they're just saying, well, we'll just erase the game completely. That's the problem that we're having now, where before it's like that would have been bad, but at least it's there, for anybody who just want like Value City-ish kind of like deals and stuff. It's at least there for them to try. I'm not a fan of Bunny Raiders, but I never heard of Bunny Raiders just ceasing to desist in itself. Like it's just there, like, and it can still be there. It doesn't have to be that big of a deal, but no, it was just, I was just upset because this was like one of the bigger names and they put a lot of money behind it to get rid of it so fast. Like it had 2 years or 2.5 years of leg room, really. Like it didn't last at all. Like at least let it go the whole duration.
I know some people who did enjoy it. It just the numbers dropped. I don't know. It's but again, it's like this whole fight for like make everything physical. And everything. It's like something that I want and I'll say, but I don't know how hardcore I'll be. Where it's like for certain things where it's just like, I'm just not gonna buy it and ever put money into it. Like no game with a season pass that was cost money will I ever put money into. Like I'm just not gonna do that. If I play it at all. But like I don't know if this is what, because like I still plan on getting Baldur's Gate 3 for PS5 probably on release day.
I
don't know how much I want to fight.
I can understand. I just feel like for me, I just want a quality product from day one, and I don't want to go through a hassle to get it. I want it to be convenient to me, because for me and a lot of other people, you don't really have the time to sit back and like wait for a game to come in the mail, or like you really, like there are moments where I might literally have less than 10 minutes to grab something, and I want to swoop into a store, grab it, and go back out. I cannot like have it. Somebody send me a picture to my email that they took a picture of it in front of my door, because like I'm looking at the picture on my phone, but I might be 30 minutes away somewhere and not set to come back for like a whole day, basically. So like, and I can't just stop just for this little game. It needs to be convenient for me. It cannot be like that. So
I'm just saying I'm more likely to impulsively buy when I walk in the store.
Yeah, that too. Like I talk like about all the nerdy stuff usually towards the end, all the like action figure type stuff usually towards the end. If that stuff was in the store, I would easily be out of an additional $500 by now. Easily. Because it's like, it's a whole process. It's like you keep going into your stores for other things and you see it, right? You see it every day or see it every time you go in there. And you think about it more, and then that's how you start trying stuff. That's how, like, when you go, you hear about people going into Walmart. It's like, I'm about to go in here for one thing. They literally tell you, like, I'm about to go in here for one thing, but somehow I came out spending an extra 100, and I got all this extra stuff.
Yep.
It's because it was just there. You know what I mean? It was just there. It's like you might have went in there, like, for example, like a Power Ranger. I might have just went in there for like one, and it's like, you know what? I'm about to just get the whole set today because they're just there. And there's nobody else here, and I'm just here.
I have 120 Funkos for a reason. Like,
Yeah.
I get impulsive, and it's like, well, if I'm getting this one, I might as well get this one. And oh, what's that? They're buy 3, get 1 free. And I came here with 1. Well, now I gotta get like all of them. Like,
yeah.
It's just that's how it works.
So basically, if you had a digital system, you have until September 30th to buy Marvel Avengers, and then afterwards it's being just delisted. A lot of the games, like I mentioned before, is already delisted by now. Like I think it was like Knockout City was the most important one, but there was a few other ones, and so this one technically to me is like the biggest, just because of the name value. So you have until September 30th. I advise you to get a physical disc before it skyrockets right after that. It shouldn't cost you more than $15 to $20 overall. Probably still brand new. Or I guess if you wanted to, you can get one used from like GameStop or something. But I do want to go back. Let's backtrack back to Baldur's Gate. No, well, not Baldur's Gate really, but just the other part of this story, because we're talking about physical releases, and you happen to get your hands on the Remnant 2 finally. Did you want to tell us a little bit about that? Put too many details out there so you don't get stalked. But
but I went to go see Blue Beetle.
Okay.
Good movie. I enjoyed it. Good movie.
Okay.
I went to go see Blue Beetle, and that's when you had messaged me like after the movie or something about seeing a physical copy somewhere near.
Yeah.
Like,
well, not too near, but basically, it's so my birthday is coming up next month, and not that I was going to try to go all out. I just know there's like this Japanese restaurant that I will go to that's like a Japanese steakhouse place that I haven't been to since last year. I didn't go for my birthday last year, but basically in the area that it's at, there's a GameStop that's there in walking distance, and they on the website it said they had them basically. Yeah. And so I sent it to you telling you that, and then that's when you told me that you were thinking about getting into that day and everything, right?
Oh, yep. So basically I was like, oh yeah, and I re-looked, and near me, not like near where I was at for the movies, there was another GameStop that had it, and I was just like, I gotta drive past it to go home anyways. And I was stopping near that area to grab food. Okay. So I was like, do I want to get it right now? And I was thinking like, nah, I could probably wait instead anyways. But I was like, you know what, they got it, let me go see. So I drove over there, and I walked in, I was just like, yo, y'all have this? And they're like, yeah, we got a few copies. Like, I think they had it was only a couple though. Like, the way she made it sounds like they didn't have full stock. It was in the drawer, it wasn't on the shelf and everything. So they just had a couple copies or something like that. So I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and grab that. But then when I went to go get it, so for those who have GameStop points, turns out they're phasing out their original Pro stuff and moving on to new Pro stuff. So the points that you have are just going to expire. Like, they're just going to get rid of them. And I didn't know that.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, because I used to save up points and eventually just get a game for free.
Right.
So I had on regular 35,000 points or something. And they were when she said, at first she was like, do you want to use your points? Because I also had the $5 monthly off. So I was like, cool. And she's like, do you want to use your points? And I was like, I'll save them. And she was like, well, just let you know, by December, basically, they're going to be expiring all of the points. So I'm like, oh, well then I'll use 25,000 of them now for the $25 off. So I ended up getting Remnant 2 for $20. I got it for $21.
That's excellent. Hey, that's really good. He finessed the system.
21. Yep. And I was like, in my head, I was like, this is what y'all get for making this so difficult to grab. But
Yeah.
it did remind me the earlier time when I finessed the system. I just want to bring this one up
Sure.
because of those points. Why I always liked it is because you get extra points if you buy used. And it was a Black Friday deal where I walked in and I didn't really want anything, and they had Assassin's Creed Origins, on sale for $30. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna use like 25,000 points and everything for it, and it brought it down to $5. And then because I was buying a used game with how much I spent, it gave me 25,000 points. So basically, I just got Assassin's Creed Origin for $5.
Nice.
Like when I went to go get it, it was like I had the same amount of points that I had when I left, when I showed up. So, I was very happy there that I just got this new game for $5. But yep, finesse system got me this for $21.
But the key thing there too is you were able to get it on your way home. It wasn't. It was a convenience thing for you for the moment.
Because even when I first went to go look at it, having to have it shipped to the store means I had to make my way there that day or 3 days from then. I had to specifically know when I would be free 3 days from then to go get it. Which I almost didn't go out that way anyways because it rained. So I was like, but I ended up just driving through it. But originally I wasn't even going to leave the house that day. So like this would have just been like a messed up day if I tried to pre-order it and then I don't want to go. And then furthermore, if I tried to get it shipped to home, I had to spend an extra $10 for shipping costs. Whereas like, no, I just want to walk in and grab it. So
right. Yeah, so it's just one of those things though, just for a lot of people, because I know there's still somebody out there who probably has even more, like schedule that's like very, very precise outside of me or you or whatever. That's just like convenience matters. Yeah, he was able to get it. So, now, was it sealed? It didn't give you just like one where it was like the package was tore off, but they told you it was new. That's happened a couple of times. Okay,
I've never had that.
That happened to me once. I was really mad. Like, what you mean?
Yeah, it's new.
So yeah, so that's why whatever. I really don't like it when it's not convenient because just your money, it should be done your way. That's how I feel about it. So yeah, he was able to get his, unless it starts to turn up in some stores near me. The only other time I might get is if I go out to this one particular place, which will literally be a month from now, or maybe 3 weeks. 3 weeks from now to a month from now, was when I would do it, and I would check. But my main reason for going there is not for that. It's mainly just to like relax and enjoy myself, I guess. But it will be icing on the cake if it's there. It'll even be more icing on the cake if it starts showing up in some of these stores that's near me. Because at one point in time, like last generation, I was able to just go to a store that was like less than a mile away and just get the stuff physically and just be done with it. And not have to worry about it in the mail. Now, yes, I've gotten stuff in the mail in the past and stuff, but like even the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally. Well, technically, ROG Ally I got in person. Steam Deck I got in the mail though. But the thing about it was also like strategically done where it was like an off day already, because I think I did it July 4th weekend or something, or July 4th time, but I had that weekend off when it came. Didn't it come when we recorded or like right afterwards? Like it came, like if it comes while we are recording the podcast, everything's okay. If it's like 1 day later, literally 1 day later, it's not okay. 2 days later, not okay. But like some of my stuff was coming in.
Anything I ordered does not come when I'm here.
Yeah, like it would just so happen to come when I'm here, and it's like a very small window, and you can't really time that, even though you'll still have a situation where like maybe the truck driver was late, or maybe Amazon or somebody will say is late. That still happens, and it's like, well, then I just not here for 12 hours maybe, you know what I'm saying, or whenever. And like sometimes the mailman comes like when I'm gone. So yeah, but we can move on from that. Let's go ahead and just take a quick, not break, but let's go into the official unofficial sponsor. Isn't that what I used to say? The unofficial sponsor of the halfway point. We're actually going to do it close to the halfway point this time, because before I was trying to do it at 30-minute mark, thinking that we're going to get out of here in an hour. So it's probably not going to happen. But yeah, so basically, I always tell you guys about the free games that mainly comes from Epic Games, and then some sales. I actually do have some sales this time that I was going to talk about. But as far as like the free stuff, if you remember, I always tell you, you do not need a credit card. You just need to create a profile, and the profile can be just a random profile. And then even if you don't have a PC, and then once you do get a PC, you'll have all of these games waiting for you once you log into your account. So for Epic Games, from now until August 24th, the games that are free is the first one's called Black Book. It's just simply Black Book. And then the second one is Doo-Doo Peak. I remember I was joking about it last week.
Are you sure it's Doo-Doo and not Dodo?
I mean Dodo Peak. Yeah. Did I say Doo-Doo last time? Oh, that's
you did say Doo-Doo, and that's why I laughed. But I'm pretty sure.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was my bad. I looked at that's how it looked to me. I was like Doo-Doo. All right, well, it's Dodo Peak. My apologies to the creators, designers, everybody involved with this game. But basically, you can claim it right now as of this recording all the way until August 24th. That and the Black Book. And then the next one is back down to one game next week. So this is going to be Homeworld Deserts of Karak. I think the H is silent. I think it's Kharak.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Karak. I think it's Karak. So that's from August 24th to the 31st. That one is going to be free for you to claim. I do still recommend the ROG Ally over the Steam Deck. This is somebody coming with both systems, coming from somebody with both systems, at least for Epic Games, because on the ROG Ally, you literally just sign in under the Epic Games app, and then everything is there. You can install whatever and just start playing. Yes, and then I guess on the Steam Deck, there's a workaround, and you can still do it, but it's a little bit more of a hassle. But I got a couple games here that I want to highlight. The main one I want to give a shout out to is the Mortal Kombat franchise. I believe the Mortal Kombat 1 had its beta release for a few people to play recently. But if you went under Voidu, I think it's, I don't know if I said that right, but VOIDU, it's a workaround on PC for the Steam version of Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate Edition. This is the complete version of that. You will be able to find a code for $2, and you get that entire thing. So you go under VOIDU and look for Mortal Kombat 11. If you don't already have it, I wouldn't mind double dipping for $2 for the full version on PC. Excellent deal for that. And Mortal Kombat 1 is probably going to be excellent too. If you go on the back end on Humble, you'll be able to get a Steam code for Hollow Knight for $7.49. It is fully playable on the deck or Steam Deck verified. And then it's also technically currently on Game Pass and PS Plus Extra if you have that. But that's a cheap one that I am still technically playing that I think that is worth checking out. Another one I'm still technically playing is Celeste. Also on Humble, you can get this for $5.99. On the PSN store, it's $6.99. On Humble, this is the Steam version. This is another game that is still a part of Game Pass and PS Plus right now. So I just wanted to mention that. I believe Death Stranding Director's Cut, PS5 edition, you might be able to find this at Best Buy for $10. So go check that out. That is also on PS Plus Extra right now. I believe it was on Game Pass on PC at one point. I remember that was kind of weird, but it somehow got to Game Pass at one point. A PS5 game, but yeah. Persona 5 Strikers, I've mentioned the sale before. This is $18.99 on Amazon and then $17.99 on the PSN store. Steam store, it is $16.19. If you go under Fanatical, I think I said that right. Yeah, so those are my sales that I looked up, saw. The biggest one I will have to say is Mortal Kombat 11. A complete version of that for $2 is obviously an absolute steal. Absolute steal. I don't know what's going on with your game, but I see a black screen and your mouse moving. So I don't know what's happening. I just looked up like I don't know what's happening.
I don't remember. I think it was loading.
Let me see. How far is it into it? Maybe I could just fast forward. Oh, it's at the very end. It's about to go over to the next thing. So I could probably just...
That's probably why.
Yeah. Boom. All right,
I don't remember loading that much.
That's all right. We did some on the fly editing. And so yeah, that's all I got for the free games and sales section of the show. I do want to move on to the Xbox section for a split second. So I got a couple Xbox things, and then we can go to our last thing, which is probably going to be Armored Core. But funny enough, I thought this was funny, but it's technically bad news to people, in a way, but it was kind of tongue in cheek, and I don't think it's going to affect too many people. But going forward, it was announced that the Xbox 360 store is going to be shutting down July 2024. It's got just under a year.
I guess hear about that, yeah.
To making your final purchases. And the reason I say it's tongue in cheek, I saw this YouTube video where this dude was just like, "Have no fear, piracy is here." And I just thought it was hilarious. And I think a lot of people are on that energy. Like, we're talking about some of these other games. Like, I went on and on about the Marvel Avengers at one point. But I could imagine a lot of these games, for any single player portion of it, and not only that, we've been seeing the community create ways for you to like get your own server for some of these games to bring back the online portion. The PC community is hot for some of this stuff. It's like they might want to shut it down, but I don't think they really have the power to over the PC community, And yeah, the Xbox 360 store is older at this point, and majority of those games are dirt cheap physical for a lot of stuff. But on top of that, emulation, I believe for 360 it was called Xenia. Like, emulation for PC is still on the rise. Like, I've give praise to like the little mini Game Boys in the past. I still think they're excellent, especially with the Pokemon and everything. But it seems like going forward with some of these bigger like games and more recent game systems and stuff, I think they're going to start to be like high priority for emulation, because there was also mentioned, because I don't think I mentioned this on the podcast, but it was mentioned that the people who were working on the PS3's emulator have also started working on a PS4 emulator. I don't know if I had mentioned that, but like it just seems like emulation is like you don't have to worry about everything because of emulation. We also talked about like the 3DS at one point. Like the second the store went down, like this other store went up where you were able to just go through A to Z and get whatever you wanted, basically, and have it on a little hacked 3DS. So yeah, I guess the 360 is going to be the same thing. If there's anything for people who want to like actually buy stuff like the correct way, you still can. But I don't think that you have to have any FOMO, basically. And this is kind of a warning too for everybody who's trying to shut stuff down in the same generation. Is like for everybody pushing, because there was a big push to put stuff on PC to begin with. Was like that's the home of all this piracy, like literally. Like is if you push it there and then you don't give the people what they want the way they want it. I mean, they're already modding and hacking everything, but I wouldn't be surprised if people just take it outright. Like some of the, I already know, like PC players that's already like more than one generation in, like I don't even think they pay for anything. I think they only pay for the graphics card. So, yeah, make it convenient and we'll pay the money. But I mean, if you don't make it convenient, I don't know what to tell you. But another part that I do want to mention for Xbox, Stray, the game Stray, little kitty cat, apparently is a top seller on Xbox right now. A lot of people are just buying it. So Stray got a second wind on another game system. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then I guess the bigger segment for Xbox that I can mention real quick. Well, Starfield is now a few weeks away. It's a few weeks away, and I don't know, the console war maybe, but like it's got good and bad news. It's like there are people already trying to like review bomb it, I guess. Even though like I thought review bombs usually come out like when the game comes out, with people trying to get a head start on it. They're trying to attack the game. We don't really know how good the game is, but basically there was rumors that the people who are playing it are saying that it's not that good, which we don't even know if that's a real thing or not. But basically the game is getting slandered. However, the game has already gone gold based on its pre-orders. So this seems like it's going to be a big game. That was surprising to me because I just thought a bunch of people would just go into Game Pass, but it seemed like there's a lot of people who just want to buy it for the same reason that I did, and probably where the modders make every like space franchise ever like a part of this game, and I think that's what's going to happen in the long run. Apparently you can also, if you pre-ordered, you can also pre-install this before the due date. And then when the due date comes, you can just play at midnight. And so this game is still set to come out, September 6, 2023. Very, very close. Not as close as Armored Core. We're going to get to Armored Core, but it's very close.
Very.
Is it going to be Game of the Year? I don't know. Is it going to be in the category? I don't know. But
I think so.
At the very least, though, it's outpacing Redfall. And Redfall was considered bad, and is already outpacing Redfall. It might also, I think this is already clearly outpaced Hi-Fi Rush as well. So it's already set to be Xbox's biggest game this year. It's beat the other two. One good, one bad, right? So we'll see if Xbox can have a big turnaround. They still had a very good showcase this past fake E3, but yeah, now it's time to really show like what you got. They got to show their hand, man, and then afterwards there's still the holiday season and then going in 2024. So if Starfield is strong enough, it'll carry the year, and then next year we got to see what they got. You know, Hellblade was the next one that I'm looking forward to. But yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to the gold. Starfield going gold. Yeah, and then I guess the very, very last topic would be the last minute Armored Core showcase. Very, very long showcase. Like I don't even know if I could really like give it a rating really out of 10. It was just it was kind of just like a little all over the place in a way, but I enjoyed the gameplay that I saw. The funny thing about it though is like it's not that far away. This game comes out on August 25th, 2023. So it will be like next week we'll literally be able to tell you if it's good or bad. We'll talk about maybe reviews and stuff. But the whole time I saw it, the only thing I kept thinking about was War Tech Fighters. I think that's what it was called. Remember we was talking about that game? It was like it looked like a Megazord game. It looked just like that.
A little bit. It was okay.
Yeah, it looked just like it to me. There were some key things that I took away from it. It is definitely no Souls game. It looks like it's going to be very easy. Well, not I won't say it like that. Like it's going to be compared to a Souls game, it's going to be easy. But it's going to be like more of a regular game. Like you die, you just come back. You don't really lose a whole bunch of stuff. You can restart from checkpoints, that kind of thing. Where in Souls games, the world keeps going, even if you you try to pause and stuff.
Right.
So there's that. It does have like the elements of like you can just keep recreating your suit on the fly, to adapt to any situation that you're in. The game will have boss fights. I did enjoy what I saw with the boss fight, and there was like the guy was kind of showing off like in the boss fight he wasn't good enough with his suit and he made changes to his suit and then all of a sudden he was good enough to beat the boss, and that was like something they were trying to emphasize on. As a show though, it was a little boring. It was a little stretched out. They did some interview stuff. This showcase technically was 2 hours. And I was like, well, how do you do this for 2 hours? But they were trying to show like you playing against the robots and then doing some PvP stuff, and then a lot of interviews, a lot of like I guess trying to talk about the game, and then like the hostess was like so overly excited that it just became fake to me. But I'm still excited for the game. I don't know if it will be in the game of the year category, but it's going to be like maybe runner up, maybe. I don't know if it's stronger than some of the other games we've mentioned. But it does look good. It looks good. Was this a day one for you? Did you say this was going to be day one?
Not a day one, but an early on. It was like a must get, but not a day one.
Like let's say by Christmas or something?
Yeah, definitely have it by then.
Okay.
Depending on reviews too, but like yeah, definitely have it by then. I was excited for it because I remember the old days of just being a kid.
I'm hoping there's no funny business with like physical copies, but I would imagine this game being with a much bigger publisher. I mean, we can consider the publisher of Elden Ring a big publisher now, so Bandai Namco obviously, so it's like I would imagine they can afford to put this in the stores and there's not being an issue, because I don't know what's going on with THQ Nordic. But that was a thing I didn't mention before. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game, The Last Ronin, is also going to be published by THQ Nordic, the same people who didn't want to put the physical release of a Remnant out. So hopefully there's no funny business there, but we won't know for a long time, and the industry is changing so quickly and right in front of us. So but Armored Core, for me, it's not that big compared to the Souls game. I lean more towards the Souls game, but I am still a huge Megazord fan. I just remembered, because I said this was last, and I have like a tiny bit of Megazord news at the end. So maybe this could tie into it. I don't know. But when I look at Armored Core and I look at some like War Tech Fighters, I think about Megazords, I think about Gundam Wings, I think about the Transformer franchise. Shout out to the Optimus Primal figure that I did get. Chef's Kiss figure. Yes. Which might lead to the next topic. So I guess we're probably done with Armored Core. You got anything you want to say about Armored Core? This is more of your game.
Yeah, I'm thinking I gotta watch that showcase to see some of it.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the reviews for it. Hopefully it's very similar. It's hard for me to just like jump at this right away because the last Armored Core game that I played was like 2000
eons ago, right? Like,
so yeah. So it's just like I gotta see it in action again, but I am excited to get it. So
I will mention a bulk of those older Armor Core games are playable on the Mayu Mini, the little Game Boy. I do have some of them on there. Haven't like started playing them because I'm more still in the Final Fantasy 1 and Pokemon Emerald, but they're in that list. I have a huge list of games in there. I showed my co-host one day. It was a bunch of stuff. But yeah, the last thing could actually be a little brief. It's not really that big of a deal. It's like for any long-term listeners, you'll know I've ranted about Hasbro in a while, but there was this other website that hosted a lot of Megazords that were just like what we consider way too expensive. One of them was called, so it was a Flames Megazord that I think was called the Kari Kopta or something like that. I forgot. But it was basically an anime-ish Megazord that is $439.99. Now this Megazord is way too overpriced for me. But it wasn't too overpriced for somebody out there because it was sold out on the pre-orders. It still remains sold out now. It's amazing how much time went by. But at one point it was like, oh, we'll think about it next year. Well, now it's about to be next month when this thing is supposed to come out. So it's set to come out in September. There's no direct date. I could imagine anybody who pre-ordered it, it was just going to basically just come out, right? But it, from what I saw in the fine print, apparently that bad boy is 8.3 inches tall, which that actually made me not get the other Optimus Primal and get the bigger one because it was like,
yeah, that feels small.
It's supposed to be Megazord size. It's basically slightly taller. He's like the Shaq version of a action figure. Basically, it's like it's gonna be 2 inches taller than a regular action figure. And so I'm like, that doesn't really scale that well. But we did see some new footage of it. Like there's actual pictures of it now instead of just stock images. It still looks good in the video and stuff in some of the videos, but it is technically a little bit bigger than the action figure. But yes, it's a small scale for anybody who's a Transformer collector. It's in the Voyager range, and Voyager is not on the same level as a leader class. Basically, leader classes or Megazord sizes are usually 11 inches to 12 inches, right? So this is like shorter than it and scales lower, but it's still $450. It's like the price of it's more than a Series S. It's more than a Nintendo Switch. It's more than a Switch OLED. It's like no.
Yeah, for sure no.
I haven't seen any videos of it yet, but the Mini came out and I've seen pictures. So there was like another version of it where it was like a Megazord where it was like really small and it had like some dragon wings on it and stuff. I have to show you some pictures of it later. But that technically did just come out this month. And then there was another one where we were just like, why does this exist? I don't know if you remember me talking about it, where it's like, it's the same size as a regular Megazord, but that one was $100. And it was like, it looked like a regular Megazord. It wasn't like anime style. So that says it's supposed to be coming out August 2023 is what it says. I haven't seen any reviews on it yet. Anybody getting it? But it was also sold out. It was also 8.3 inches. And so there was the mini one was actually 6 inches tall. It's funny how that one's considered mini and then the regular one's only 2 inches taller. That one was also $100. And so I was just like, why are these? It was just way too many Dino Megazords, not enough of all the other ones, right? But everybody came out with their version of them. And they're all starting to show up. So I might talk about them more towards the end, going forward a couple times. I'm going to start checking for some of the videos because I still want to see like nice videos of them. But I'm going to be honest, I don't think I'm going to buy any of them. I don't think I'm going to buy any of them. They're all sold out anyway. The one that did look nice was the $400 one, the anime style one, but it was just like, $440. Like $440. Like what? Like if you bought two of these, it would be the same thing as getting a PlayStation VR 2. but they're both
Ooh.
action figure size, basically, right?
That context, like this, to putting it in the context.
Yeah, it's just like what if I had got their $100 regular size Megazord, right, and then the actual anime one and the mini, it's equivalent to if I bought either the Steam Deck or ROG Alley.
Ooh.
It's like, what are we doing
That's
here?
like one of them's gonna sit and one of them you're gonna actually use.
Yeah. So I just wanted to look at them because I'm still a fan of it. I still want to see videos because I'm a fan of it, but I'm probably not going to get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all I just wanted to say. I guess we're at the very end. Anything else you want to say at the very end before we just wrap it up?
Oh, go see Blue Beetle, or nah, you can wait. It's good. It was a good movie.
Okay.
It's a good movie.
All right. I'm trying to watch the Transformer films too. I got them, but I haven't watched them. So hopefully I can get one of them done by next week. We could talk about it. I do think we're going to follow up on Armored Core next week to see if it is in the Game of the Year contender category. Other than that, still enjoy what's left of the summer, and we will catch you next week. Peace.
Peace.